Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Wilson. Welcome back to Magic Talk. You'll have to forgive me, it's pretty late. 2:45 in the morning, but I can't sleep, so I decided to get up here and talk about Super Friends, which is this deck. Um, this deck is very interesting, and I think it's one of those decks that's going to get better with time. We're losing Oblivion Ring, we're losing Pithing Needle, which are two very good ways to shut down Planeswalkers. Some of the best ways, I think, to shut down Planeswalkers, and we're losing them. Not sure what Scars of Mirrodin is going to give us, but if it doesn't give us any more answers for Planeswalkers, you could be seeing a lot of this. I know we still have Vampire Hexmage. We're also getting that artifact from Scars of Mirrodin. You'll have to forgive me, the name is fleeting right now, but it puts extra counters on permanents. The stone that you pay for and tap, it puts counters on permanents, which I think might help this deck. Not sure whether it's going to be played or not. I myself haven't played Super Friends much. But we're going to take a look at two of the builds that have done well recently at two of the Nationals. This one from Uruguay. Usually you see the three of Wall of Omens to help against aggro decks. Aggro decks give this deck a little bit of a problem, but the slower decks, decks that aren't quite as fast as like Mono Red or Elves or anything like that, or anything that's super aggressive, it usually does pretty well against. But you usually see four of Wall of Omens to help against the aggro decks, to maybe stave off early threats and stuff. Here we only have three. It's still running Path to Exile. I'm seeing a lot of control decks losing the path, dropping the Path to Exiles down to 3, or some decks I see just seen around people dropping it all together. I guess it's because of the land. They don't want to give the land. I'm not sure on that, but having 5 board sweepers in this build I think is a great idea, because it's, like I said before, aggro is kind of a problem for this. So the 5 board sweepers kind of help, and still run Spreading Seas. You're seeing a lot of decks also dropping Spreading Seas, but here still Super Friends still runs it. It's still good for getting rid of man lands and controlling your opponent's mana base. Coupled with Ajani Vengeance, which it looks like they're running again. It seems pretty good to keep your opponent's lands in check and pretty much control or have control over what lands they get to tap and whatnot, and what they get to use each turn. And Tectonic Edge to also help control that as well. So a lot of land control in the deck. This version of Splash is red. I've seen a lot of people, they drop the red Splash because it makes the mana base a little too awkward, but you can see here worked just fine for this person. The Planeswalkers, which the Super Friends package we have here, the Ajani Vengeance, Elspeth, Gideon Jura, and Jason Mind Sculptor, pretty solid, hard to deal with. This guy is serious pain. Sticks around for a very long time. He's very, very hard to get rid of, and he's kind of the win condition. The problem I've seen that my friends have complained about when they've played the deck is threats. There's not a lot of threats. You have the 4 Baneslayer Angels, the 2 Gideons, and your where is it? Right here, the Celestial Colonnades as your win conditions, and they were complaining to me that it didn't feel like enough to get there. I don't see a problem with it. It sounds like enough to me, but apparently they had a problem with it, so I don't know how to solve that. Maybe add 1 more Gideon somewhere. I don't know, but that's a complaint that I heard. Not sure if it's true. Like I said, I don't play this deck. Here is another build that also top-8'd in Bolivia. Dropping the upping the Wall of Omens to 4, dropping the path down to 3. I guess that's a good idea. it gives you the card advantage rather than giving your opponents more lands. The Day of Judgment's only being 3 of in the main, putting the rest in the sideboard. Here's the other one, sideboard here. And 3 Oblivion Rings rather than 2. This one drops 2 Planeswalkers and adds a third Jace the Mind Sculptor. Drops Gideon down to 1 of, and Elspeth down to a 2 of. So apparently the number of threats isn't that bad. I mean, they dropped 1 win condition here, and you still got the 4 Baneslayers, 4 Celestials, and the Gideon. Yeah, I know. These can be the Ajani's and the Elspeths can be used as win conditions. The Jace can be used as a win condition, but they're not as immediately threatening as Baneslayer, Angel, and Gideon and whatnot. So, I'm not sure what the problem was that my friends were having about not having enough. When they said they didn't have enough threats, they didn't have enough win conditions. It seems to me like they seem to be doing just fine with the ones they're running. Like I said, they dropped Gideon down to 1 of. My friends were running 3 of Gideon, so I don't know. Maybe they weren't doing it right, or maybe they were just running into really bad matchups. I don't know. But the sideboard here, a lot of counter magic and a lot more control here. The Luminarch Ascensions for the blue-white control matchups, maybe the mirror match. This is very, very good card here. I don't know, was it back here? Not running any in this sideboard. I think this is an excellent sideboard choice for this kind of deck, or like even just blue-white control decks. Yeah, they come in against blue-white control. They come in the mirror match. They help take care of things and get the job done. It's the extra threat, I guess, if you will. The extra win condition that you could board in against certain decks, except for the aggro decks, of course. Leyline of Sanctity here helps against red deck that can't burn you out. The modern mono red deck. Sorry, can't talk. 3 o'clock in the morning. Has trouble with this. They don't have any enchantment removal. The red never has enchantment removal, so they have a hard time getting rid of this. I guess it's just something that the red's gonna have to learn to deal with. It's also good against multiple other stuff too. Not just red deck. It can also keep you from having to sacrifice any of your permanents for anything. It can also keep you from getting Blightning. There's a lot of different things, I guess, it's good against. And for ley lines, it's odd to see a ley line less than 4 of in the sideboard. See here, because Leyline is automatically expected to just, you mulligan down so you have it in your opening hand, or just pray you have it in your opening hand so you can drop it for 0 mana. But here is running a 2 of, which I think is a great idea. It works for this Leyline and for this deck because of the amount of card draw that you have. The 4 Wall of Omens, 4 Spreading Seas, Jace the Mind Sculptor, drawing you extra cards and getting there quickly, so you can actually just cast this. You can pay the 4 mana and hard cast this. Rather than just hoping to have it in your opening hand. So a 2 of this Leyline in this deck it seems to be a good idea. Don't get me wrong, having the 4 of is great. If you have it in your opening hand, it's awesome to be able to just play it for 0 mana. But in this case, I think that having the 2 of isn't a bad idea. So that's something you want to consider if you need extra slots in your sideboard, that you only need 2 or 3 Leylines of Sanctity rather than running 4. So keep that in mind. Here we have a Jace Beleren in the sideboard, not in the other one. I guess this one's running. This is good tech, I hear, against Jace the Mind Sculptor. It's a good way of removing Jace for 3 mana. So this might not be a bad idea. The Pyroclasm helps against the aggro decks, so that might not be a bad idea for your sideboard if you're planning to build it. Mind Control is always good. Steal your opponent's Titans, steal your opponent's Baneslayer Angels, stuff like that. So these are all excellent sideboard choices, and you should keep them in mind when building the deck. I personally like Flash Freeze myself, if I was going to build this, I would love to have flash freeze in the sideboard, because the green decks are becoming more and more popular. Starting to see a lot of Primeval Titans pop up in decks with him in it. A lot of the green mono green Eldrazi deck is becoming pretty popular, and this is a good way of stopping some of those spells. Like everything in Jund pretty much is green, so this is a great. It's a great counterspell in my opinion. It's a good tool to have in your sideboard. So this was just a quick look at the Super Friends deck. I just noticed that there was 2 of them that popped up at Nationals. I'm sorry to ramble on about nothing at this point. I guess it's the sleep deprivation getting to me now. But yeah, I hope this has been educational, and thanks for watching.